Hi yoga friends, I'm Jen. Thank you so much for joining me again for another video. We're going to take a nice standing sequence today. So I'm going to get you to start by taking your feet wider than hip distance apart here. And we're going to feel our weight into the soles of the feet here. We're just going to rock the weight forward, lift up onto the heels, and then all the way back, maybe lift up through the toes. All right, so it's really important as you do this that you keep your hips here and your shoulders in line. And then you're not sticking your bottom out behind you. We're just walking or rocking that weight forward and back, noticing how that feels for you. We're going to plant the soles of the feet into the floor. We're going to slightly turn the toes in towards each other and press into those outer edges of our feet. We're going to take our hands to our hips here and rotate the hips back, draw the navel back, lengthen up through the spine as we inhale. And then we're going to take a nice deep breath in, rotate our shoulders over that right leg, and then as we exhale, we're going to smoothly fold the torso down and forward. Now, if you need to take a bend into your knees here to do that, please do so. Inhale as you sweep the body up the left line of the leg. And at the top of the breath, you should be back here standing. We're going to take 2 more of that. Those, take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bow here over the right leg. Complete exhalation, the crown of the head towards the floor. And then as you inhale, sweeping the torso up, trying not to rush through it, but be mindful, of course, to bend the knees if you need. Last one. Exhale and bow over that right leg. Down through the midline and sweep all the way back up through the left side of the body here. As you come back to stand. And then keep that left foot as it is. We're going to turn the right toes now to the short edge of your mat. Press into that right big toe. And we're going to firm up through the right leg. We move into Trikonasana. So we want the feet here about wider than hip distance apart, a leg's distance apart. We're going to start by taking the hands to the hips here. We're going to keep the left hand glued to the left hip and take the right palm to face forward on top of the right thigh. And we're going to lean towards the right, keeping the right shoulder in line with the right leg. You can take your gaze down to that right big toe. Just pause here. It doesn't matter how far your hand comes down. A lot of mistakes are made in Trikonasana by trying to go too far too soon. Your body will ease into the posture as you go along, and maybe your hand will touch the floor today, tomorrow, maybe next week, or maybe even next year. The point is here that you're taking the posture to your comfortable capacity. A sense here of the navel always drawn back and lengthening through the spine. And it's almost as if I'm pressing back into this left hip and the crown of the head is moving over to the right. Now the left hand can stay here on the left hip, or we can reach it up to the ceiling. And as long as your torso here is in line with your right leg, you can raise your gaze up to the left hand and draw those shoulders away from the hands. It's almost like the hands are moving in opposite directions. Let's take 3 more breaths. Sense of the left side of the rib cage rolling up towards the ceiling. Now, to come out of this, we'll draw the navel back to the spine. Let's lower the left hand back to the hip. And with that strong, activated core, let's raise the torso. We're going to square our hips now to the right side of the mat. And we're going to pivot on that left foot, and maybe even take the left foot off to the left-hand side a little bit more. So we've got the feet hip distance apart here. Hands to the hips. We'll draw the shoulder blades back behind and towards each other and arching through the spine here. Now there's a lot of different hand variations you can take here, but for today, I invite you just to keep the hands to the hips. And with this arch to the spine, we're going to start to bow forward. Now, again, we're not coming all the way down, just to a third or halfway, and really actively draw that right hip crease back. And that should make it a bit of a firmer stance here for you. Maybe a deeper stretch through the back of the right leg. Now we're going to take this forward fold to our comfortable capacity. So for me, I always need to bend my right knee here because I've got some lower back issues, but I find once I get my torso down to my right thigh, I'm able to straighten the right leg again. And then we're going to take the hands now either to the hips and continue to draw that right hip crease back and the left hip crease forward. We drop the gaze towards the shin, or we can take the hands behind us and really stretch the fingertips away from our head. Interlace with that right thumb on top. And again, draw the hands away from the crown. And then we'll sweep the hands forward here for a shoulder stretch. Let's take 3 breaths here, maintaining the strength through the legs, the arch through the spine, and the softness through the face and the jaw. To release the hands back to the hips, the navel drawn back to the spine, raise the torso. We're going to pivot and turn back to that side angle of our mat. Bring the toes here. Again, pigeon-toed a little in, the heels out, press into those outer edges of your feet. Pull the top of the hips back, draw the navel back. And we're going to take those torso circles again, but this time circling from the left. So we'll take a nice deep breath in here, lengthen through the spine. And we're going to square our shoulders over to the left leg, forward fold over the left leg, and slowly circle all the way down to the floor. Again, marry the movement here with your breath. It's a form of yoga. A meaning of yoga is to yoke or to bring union to something. And often times when we do these postures, what we're trying to do is marry our breath to the movement. So we exhale and bow over the left leg. And as we inhale, we come up the right. Making our way all the way back to the midline. And we're going to turn the left toes to the short edge of your mat. The hips are going to stay square here to the long edge of your mat. We'll take our hands to the hips to begin with. Draw the top of the hips back, draw the navel back, and press into your left big toe, firming up through the left inner thigh and the front of your thigh. We'll release the top palm of the hand here to the inner thigh and start to bow over to the left, keeping your shoulders in line, keeping the torso in line with that left leg, drawing the navel back here and only going as far as you can comfortably and where you can with the shoulders in line and the torso over that left leg. So I guess this posture looks a bit easy, but it's quite challenging if you're trying to do it properly. So you can stay here, or you can raise your right hand high and again draw the shoulders away from your ears, the gaze to the right thumb tip, and over time you may find that you're able to come a little bit deeper. Do not sacrifice, though, coming deeper for poor form. Right? Doing something simply is better than butchering something that's a bit more challenging. Let's take another 2 or 3 breaths here. And to come out of this, let's drop the right hand back to the right hip, draw the navel to the spine, raise the torso. We're going to take our shoulders now to square over to the left toes and then turn the right foot forward as well. And we're just going to pick up the right foot and step it off to the right so that our feet are now hip distance apart. The right big toe is pointing to that top right corner of your mat. Hands to the hip creases, roll the hips back, lift up through the heart, arch the spine, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. And keeping that left leg strong and firm, we're going to bow forward here to your comfortable capacity. We're just going to hold this don't have to go any further. We draw the left hip back. We press the right hip forward. Sense of lengthening all the way from the tail to the crown. And particularly, we lose this one through the neck sometimes if we're dropping the chin down or jutting to the chin forward. So be mindful here to be neutral with the gaze. And then to come deeper in this one, friends, let's bend that left knee again. We'll release the hands from the hips. Take the hands to the floor. You may need some blocks here to the floor to support you, and that's fine. Once you have your ribs and thighs connected on the left leg, we're going to start to straighten that left leg again. And you can choose to stay here, drawing that left hip crease back, taking the right hip crease forward. You can take your hands behind your back. And this time we interlace with the left thumb on top. Draw the hands down past the hips and then take them forward past the head. Let's go ahead and take 3 or 4 smooth breaths here. Softness through the face and the jaw. And really slowly release the hands. Then let left knee raise up through the torso. We'll square the hips back to center and walk the feet back in. So from here, let's take a standing balance. We'll start by standing onto our left leg. So we're going to spread the toes of the left foot, roll the top of the hips back, and come onto our right toe tips. So from here, you can just stand, drawing the fingertips to the floor and turning the palms forward. We can take the sole of the right foot to the inner left ankle or calf. If you've got the accessibility up to the upper thigh, softness in the face and the jaw, smile is always great. And we'll raise the hands high just to 45 degrees. Continue to draw that right knee back as you lengthen up through the sternum. And even though we're extending out to the fingers, there's this sense of the shoulders moving towards the hips and not up to the crown of the head. Bring your hands together in the extended prayer past the head. Sorry, you can't see my fingertips. I can't get my camera any further back than it is. And we'll take the hands down in front of the heart for a breath or two. Ease and softness. If you close your eyes, it's a bit tricky. And release. Let your legs have a little rest here. Maybe sway the body, give them a little bit of a jiggle. And then we take the second side. So let's stand onto the right foot. Roll the top of the hips back. Draw the navel back. Spread the toes on the right foot. Come onto the left toe tips. And this can be it for you if you want to stay, because we're drawing the navel back. We're activating through the core. We've got the sense of balance. The weight is on the right foot. Lightness on the left toe tip. If you'd like to do so, maybe take the heel here to the ankle, to the calf, or perhaps a little bit higher to the inner upper thigh. And again, we press the hips forward as we draw the left knee back. We find our sense of balance here. Focus on the breath. It's always good to find a place that you can look at that's not moving within the room to maintain your balance. We'll raise the hands now to 45 degrees. Remember, the palms are facing up and we're reaching to the fingertips, but the shoulders are moving in the opposite direction to the fingers. Bring your hands to the high prayer past the head. Take your hands to your heart. Maybe for a moment, close your eyes. Maybe not. And gently lower. Shake it out. Thank you, friends, for joining me. I hope you have a lovely day.